On the line, Nic Maeder from Swiss band Gotthard. Nic, thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. How you going?
Doing very well. Now, just refresh our memories. What were you doing prior to joining Gotthard?
So just prior, actually, I was I'd had quite a few bands in Australia, but the last one that I had was a band called Maeder, actually, just before, and then really just that kind of didn't, that we'd stopped that for a while, and I think we'd finished that band for about a year or so, and then I'd actually started doing covers for the first time in my life, and and then just sort of went, had this audition with the Gotthard guys in Switzerland and got the job and moved to Switzerland, and it's been almost sort of 10 years now.
Were you aware of Gotthard before this audition came about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Swiss, so I was actually born here, and my whole family's from here, and my parents migrated to Australia when I was about 2 years old. So I sort of grew up between both countries.
Right.
And so I'd played in bands in Switzerland and in Australia, and so I still had a lot of friends in Switzerland, and still had still kind of close to the music scene here as well. And I really just a friend of mine. I mean, I actually even played in the festival with Gotthard back in '94 or something, in Switzerland. And I remember that actually my band, we opened for them, and they were headlining the festival there already back then. So I knew about the band, but I've been living in Australia for a long time at that point, so I didn't really follow the career of the band that much. But I knew that their singer had died, and a friend of mine actually told me that they were that they were doing auditions and suggested that I audition, and so that's sort of how I knew about it, and then just kind of joined. Auditioned along with I think there was something like 450 other people that auditioned as well. Yeah, there's a lot of people auditioning for this thing, and so somehow I kind of made it through. So, but it was a long process. The whole auditioning thing. I mean, I actually came to Switzerland twice, I think, just for auditioning. So 3 times by the time, actually 3 times. So I did the trip 3 times, and the whole process took about 8 months. So from the first day that I actually sent them recordings of my voice on their songs, and then actually went over there and played with them, recorded with them, and went back to Australia, then went back again to do some songwriting with them. So because they kind of shortlisted me and wanted to see how the songwriting together would be, and what the band would sound like if I was in it and doing new songs. So we sort of I spent a couple of weeks with them writing some songs, and which actually wrote that very first song that we released to kind of introduce me as their new singer, a song called Remember It's Me. And and then it's kind of eventually they picked me, and I moved here and started.
Look, I get the impression on the internet that they would have been incredibly big shoes to fill coming in. Did you feel that pressure?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was, we're talking here about the biggest Swiss band. So they're kind of in the mainstream here, and their singer was a very big personality here, and his death was obviously heavily mediatized. And so, of course, coming in, I kind of woke up one morning and I was in all the newspapers and on TV and everywhere. I mean, it was a really big deal, So it was really difficult times actually in the beginning. It was pretty scary actually. Yeah. But I think we were pretty lucky. I mean, I was just extremely lucky that the fans actually accepted me and really encouraged me a lot. I mean, they were really, really encouraging, and you could tell the fans really wanted it to work, and they were there, and they were amazing, So I think we were very, very lucky that we were able to make it work and continue, especially with a band that already for the first 20 years of its career had one singer, so yeah.
It's almost like the Swiss equivalent of replacing Jimmy Barnes in Cold Chisel, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah.
Let's flash forward. Right, we've got a new album coming out. It's the 13th album from Gotthard. It's coming out on the 13th of March, and it's called 13. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, we just, the previous album, actually, we did this acoustic album, acoustic live album. So we kind of toured that for 2 years, and it meant that we missed one, because normally, we have an album making year and then a touring year. So it's sort of, we every 2 years we make a new album, and the band's never really taken a break. So it just kind of kept, keeps on going that way. So we sort of missed that year of songwriting, and we were just kind of really itching to get into it and especially get back into making a good rocking album, because we obviously spent 2 years touring an acoustic one. So we were really itching to get out there and plug the amps in and make some noise. So,
were you writing this on the road?
No. We really didn't have anything. The only song there's one song on the album, a song called "Man on a Mission," which was a song that's been around that Leo had, that's been around for, I think it was already around for the last production, but we didn't take it. And so other than that, no, everything was all fresh, and we just just kind of, and it really happened quite easly, actually. There weren't too many problems with it, and a lot of ideas came, and just happened very organically. And we also had some friends come in and write with us as well. We had Francis Rossi came in for one song, good buddy of ours, and Eric Bazillion, also from the Hooters. We did a couple of songs with him as well, another really good friend of ours as well. And it was a really fun process, and just really making a good kind of rockin' album.
You did sort of mention like the vibe of the album. It does sound like you've just, like when you listen to it, this is from my point of view, it does sound like you've just walked into a party and the band's been there and they're in top gear and they're just kicking along. It just sounds like a big party.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks. That's a great compliment. I mean, that's kind of what we're going for, and we wanted to keep it also fairly raw, which is one of the reasons why also we took Paul Lanny as co-producing as well, which is that, we did the first album that I did, the Firebirth album, with him as well, which we wanted a raw sound as well for that one. So it was kind of pretty conscious idea to have a fairly raw. I mean, we even at one point we weren't sure that we were going to have keyboards even in it, and we do have the Hammond in there, but it's kind of it's kind of more there for color rather than a feature, and it's just a good kind of raw album,
So that's coming out March 13. Good choice of date there, obviously. What happens then? Another year of touring?
Yeah, well, we start, tour kicks off in mid-April, European tour, and then we sort of have all the summer festivals, and it'll be a big touring year. So yeah, actually really looking forward to getting out there again.
What about taking it overseas? What's happening there? Have we not got passports? What's the deal?
Well,
this is how us Australians ask questions, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, we do go to South America and we do go to Japan, but we haven't made it as far as Australia, unfortunately. I mean, I keep telling them, it's like, well, guys, come on, we're in Japan here. We're not that far away, we just got to kind of jump across and we're there, So, but we've been talking about it quite a bit and trying to we have been actually trying to organise something. So hopefully one of these days it will finally happen. I mean, I'd absolutely love to play in Australia for sure.
Now, not that I mind, but how did SOS get on this album?
Not that I mind. Well, no, we actually I got asked by the Swiss TV to they were doing a Christmas show like this, an ABBA tribute thing for Christmas, and they were asking different singers to who wanted to come in and do a song. And I thought, ABBA. So, well, yeah, I don't know. I said, I'm not too sure. But I thought, I just said, well, give me a few days. Let me let me think about it. Let me see what I can come up with.
Let me try and convince myself.
Yeah, well, I just thought, a good song's a good song. So you can, at the end of the day, like them or not, they are, amazing songwriters. So I thought, okay, so I listened to a few songs, and then SOS seemed to be the one that I could kind of, adapt the most, I suppose. And then I had to play around with it and kind of recorded it at my house just with piano and voice, and just kind of, did my own version of it, and just wanted to kind of keep it a bit darker. I just thought, no, actually that works quite well. So I said yes to the TV show, and then I just showed the guys, just for fun. I was just showing the guys at one of our songwriting kind of sessions. I just showed the guys what I was doing with this Abbott thing, and they loved it. They just sort of said, hey, let's do it. And actually Leo turned around and said, well, actually, years ago before I was in the band, they wanted to do a version of SOS. They actually even recorded somewhere on a tape deck somewhere. They have a version of them doing SOS. So just kind of and Leo had been wanting to do it for a long time. So we just thought, oh great, let's make a Gotthard version of SOS, and we kind of really wanted to also keep it fairly dark and heavy,
Now I've seen a film clip for Mysteria.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very good.
Oh, thank you.
That the main, what they call these days, focus track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are other people interviewing you coming up with as their favourite song? Because I'll tell you right now that mine is No Time to Cry.
Uh-huh.
How's that going in the polls?
That one I haven't heard yet.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, but I mean, funnily enough, everybody seems to come up with a different one.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That is good.
So that's a good thing. Yeah, if you can kind of, try and make everyone happy somehow.
Now, once again, I'll edit this out of the interview for obvious reasons, but I'm a happily married man, and I played Marry Me to my wife tonight, and I said a young man could get himself laid playing this.
Yeah.
and she looked at me and she said, or an old man.
Or an old man, for that matter. Yeah.
She obviously meant me, but so that's a good one.
Well, actually, that's one of the ones that we actually, funnily enough, that was Eric Bazillion. He actually wrote that song, and there's a really nice story behind that one, because he wrote that song and recorded it himself and played it to his wife as his marriage proposal.
Right.
So that's actually how he proposed to his wife. He took her to a restaurant.
I sure as shit hope she said yes.
Oh yeah, she did. Yes, they've been happily married for years. They have older kids now and everything. So So he actually sat her down at the restaurant and put the headphones on her, and then played her the song, and it's basically his marriage proposal, but he'd never done anything with the song. It was kind of it's his personal thing that he had, and we were having a writing session with him, and we'd finished. I mean, it was already super late. I think it was something like 2 or 3 in the morning or something, and we were already kind of halfway through a bottle of whiskey, and he played us that song just as just talking about it, and Leo jumped on it. He just sort of said, well, wow, it's amazing. We've got to do this song. We've got to record it. We've got to do it. So we were still in the studio, so a bottle of whiskey later, and 4 o'clock in the morning, we're downstairs recording it, and literally that's what you get. So we didn't re-record it or anything. That's it. That's actually the version that's on the album. We just added later on. We added some strings and a few other things, but the acoustic guitars and the voice. That's it. That's pretty much what it was. So
too good a song to just be sitting there doing nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was exactly what Leo was thinking. He just heard it straight away. He just jumped on it. He's got a good ear for that stuff. And so there you go. It's a good story, I think.
It's almost too good not to put in the interview, that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, Nic, absolutely great chatting to you about the new Gotthard album, 13, coming out on March 13. Sounds fantastic. I love it. All the best of success with it, and maybe just on a personal level, might see you at one of these summer festivals in Europe later on in the year.
That'd be great. And yeah, hey, thanks for having me. And yeah, hey, have a good one.